I can't see. Okay.
Are we on?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, I'm Andrea Blankenship from Watson, and I'll be leading the webcast today, and this is my partner.
Hi, I'm Christina Etheridge from Hillside. I'm going to be moderating, so if you have a question, type it in and I'll answer your question.
Thanks. All right. All right, so just to tell you a little bit about my background, we have quite a bit of technology at Watson. So I'm used to using it on a daily basis. The Google Classroom is up and going daily in our building, but this is not something that should hinder you if you don't have the same amount of technology. What I'm going to show you today works great in your computer lab time, or if you've got the traveling carts. Whenever works for you to have technology in your classroom, you can utilize the things I'm going to talk about today. So internet capable devices work just great. So today we're going to talk about how you can differentiate for your students, in particular in the Google Classroom. And so I know that differentiating as a classroom teacher sometimes seems like you're climbing this huge mountain and you can never be successful at it. But I'm hoping that with a few things I can show you today, it will make the job a little easier. And actually, I found it to be pretty quick when I'm setting up lessons in my classroom, and I will walk you through a couple of those that I've made today. So I'm going to cover the ISTE standard today that talks about computational thinkers. Students should be identifying problems in their work, in their classroom, and in the real world, and utilizing data that we give them to develop and create their own solutions. So differentiating helps us to meet every child's need in this way. And then also, anytime we're using technology, we're using that creative communication standard as well in their technology. And anytime your students create original works using digital tools, it's a great way to get them coming up with complex ideas and choosing how they take charge of their learning. So I'm going to move on into the Google Classroom. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you may already have a Google Classroom and that you're using it regularly, but just in case you don't, I will show you how to create a basic assignment really quickly, and then from that, I'll show you how you can differentiate. Thank you. All right, sorry about that. I'm going to try this one more time. All right, let me make sure the correct screen pops up. That way you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's an example of a Google Classroom that was created with a couple of my partners. So basically, to create an assignment, you just go to the bottom right corner where the little plus sign is, and you move up to create an assignment. And then what I love most about Google Classroom is that you can select multiple classrooms at a time. So if I teach reading, and so I can select all of my classes and just create an assignment one time. And the one thing that you need to know about creating an assignment for multiple classes is you do not get to pick and choose which students. It has to be all students anytime you're creating an assignment for multiple classes. So I'll just call this test assignment. I like to give instructions. Please follow the rubric. And then wherever you have a document stored that you would like to use, I have a little passage about LeBron James. We'll just add that one in there. Something to note is once you have uploaded your assignment, I find it much easier to come to this little right click down screen and make a copy for every student. Otherwise, every time a student answers a question, everyone with this document will see their answer. So they are not working on their own. So then I will choose a due date. And we'll just go to the calendar and I'll assign it from there. Then you'll see that it will pop up quickly. It's moving a little slow today. It's moving really slowly today. All right, so you can see that here's a basic assignment that I've used over for several classrooms. So since we're talking about differentiation, I'm going to show you how to create something. Like so in one classroom, I've got kids who are gifted in here, and then I've got students who have 504 accommodations, I've got students in SPED, and then I've got my grade level kids. And a lot of times, I don't have time to make up 3 completely different lessons. However, I'll show you how I modify lessons and level them, and it makes it so quick and easy. And so if you just follow the screen real quickly, I created an assignment here that were for my, I'm just calling this a test class, but for 10 students, I'll call this my grade level section. And on my grade level section, I used a little project that we've done recently, Black History Month Project Rubric. And I'll just open it up and show you what the basic assignment would look like. Oops. Let me try that again. Here we go. So you can see this is just a little task sheet for kids to work on this project. And it's a basic rubric of the expectations. This would be for my grade level kids. Now, on this same project with the exact same title, I can just come right over here, and I've assigned this one to 5 students. You can click here and it shows the exact 5 students that I gave this to. And then if I come click here, you'll be able to see that this is an assignment, and there's some extension activities on here. So this might be a really good one to use for your gifted learners or those who are just moving at an accelerated speed. And then if I come up here, I've got a third assignment, and again, I kept the title the same. And I like to do this because whoever is sitting by that student that you've had to modify for, they will never know, the grade level student will never know that they have a modified project because the title is exactly the same. It looks like everyone is getting exactly the same assignment. Again, I can double check that those are my 4 students that needed the modification. And you can come in here and see I've broken this one up into days. Just some kids just need it in smaller chunks. And so I made the same title with a different lesson, but very similar. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm going to go to one of my classrooms, and I'm going back to the drive. So I will move to a classroom that I already have set up. I'm going to go back to the sample one I did, but do it for you. Again, I'm going to come over to the Add Assignment page. And remember, when you're differentiating, you have to work with just one classroom at a time. So where it says Google Classroom and all students, this is the only time I can modify or differentiate what students I'm assigning this work to. So I'll go in here, and I'm not going to give this to all of my students. I'm going to create a grade level assignment, and I'm just going to pick a few kids as an example. So these are the kids that I'm giving the grade level assignment to. And I will call this the tortoise. Little reading passage that we'll be working on, and quick little instructions. I'm not going to set the due date right now just for practice purposes, but this is important to do always. So now I go back to the drive. I'm going to find, excuse me, what I'd like to give to the kids. So I've got here we go. So I've given them an assignment, and I'll show you the difference. This is an assignment right here where I've kind of set apart specific terms that might be important that will really get kids focused on what I need them to look at. But when I go back here, remember, only 5 kids can view this exact assignment. So then I would assign that. I'm the one who knows the kids that needed this assignment, and no one else in the class does. So then I've got to come back, create a new one, which I'm also going to call the tortoise. And I'm going to choose the 5 kids that need the extension. So I'll come right down here and do that. Those are the 5 kids. Then I will go back to my drive and choose extension. I've titled it differently so I know which one it is, but the kid's title for the assignment is the same. So you can see that on this one, this is going to be for my GT kids. They're not just answering questions, but they're giving some explanation. They're thinking through a little bit more and using the skills they've got. So coming back over here, I'll assign that to those kids. And then I'm not going to do this again, but then I would do a third one for my grade level kids or whichever group I need to do. Something else I like about differentiating is when you've got kids who are absent or maybe kids who need extra review for a test or quiz coming up, you can stick some practice sheets in here and you don't have to give it to the entire class. I know if I gave a review sheet to all 24 of my homeroom kids and only 6 of them missed the assignment, they'd all be up in arms about, why do I have the same assignment? I've already done this. And so I really love that you can go in and just select the kids. If you change your mind or you want to add another child to your extension group, you just go into the edit section and you go to where it shows you your students, and I can add from there. So I may want to add a few more kids who need to be in that group and then save it. I love that you can edit everything that you do in here. Sometimes I will stick the wrong assignment in and catch it 2 or 3 minutes later, so you can just go back in and do a quick edit and there's no harm done. So these are a few examples of how to do that. Okay, so some ideas for things that you might want to differentiate for. I find that doing projects is probably one of the biggest areas that I like to differentiate the assignments. The Black History Month one that I pulled up a little bit earlier was really good because, you know, if you have those higher kids in your class, they're moving at a really speedy pace and they're going to be completing what you've done much faster. So a lot of times I'll add the extension activities in there, and sometimes their assignment will be a little bit different, but now I don't have to pull them into a small group or put my gifted kids at one table. I really like kids to collaborate on all levels in my classroom, but I still have a different expectation for kids who can achieve a little bit more. And then I never want my kids who need accommodations to feel that they have to have a watered down assignment. They want to get in there and do a project with everyone else. But they can still work in the same group, but what they're giving to me as their final product can be just a little bit different that fits their learning style and their need. So I really love how the classroom allows us to differentiate that way. Something else that I do sometimes when I'm differentiating in the classroom is I will sometimes put a little PowerPoint in there for kids who need reinforcement or need written directions, like step by step. This is a really good way where I'm not hovering over a child's shoulder or they don't feel uncomfortable asking me, can you explain again? I still don't understand. A lot of times I'll stick my teacher notes in there or I'll give them a step by step. I like to do PowerPoints and click sheets when I am modifying for 504 needs. And then sometimes a kid just needs that extension of time. So as I create my assignment and set my due dates, it's just really easy to extend that due date for some kids. So there we go. All right. So I really hope that some of the examples that I've showed you have been very helpful. I hope that you will try to incorporate at least one lesson. I know it's the end of the school year for a lot of us, and some of you will watch this at the beginning of next year, I'm sure, but I hope that you'll try incorporating at least one assignment in the classroom where you can differentiate. I didn't learn about this until early this school year, but Google is updating so often. This is just a new feature that they've started offering. I think it was December or January. So if you will just check back on Google updates, it's amazing the things that they are making easier for us as teachers. And so I really love some of the things. I hope that you'll also check Atomic Learning. If you don't really know how to set up a Google Classroom, or you're having trouble creating assignments or announcements, Atomic Learning has got a video for everything. As a matter of fact, every time I have to teach something new in class, I need a new way, truly you can go on there. I don't think there's a topic that's not covered, but it's a really good digital resource. Something else for Google Classroom that is really great is called Classroom Guru. If you are new to setting up a classroom, there is a click sheet in there. There are like tutorial cards that show you step by step every button to push, and it's really, really a great resource for working in the Google Classroom. And so if anybody has a question, please feel free to send it to Chris. Anything I can address right now?
I'm going to put the link for credit on right now.
Okay. The link for your credit is coming up. And also, I never mind if you would like to ask a question about the Google Classroom. So I'm going to come and modify this real quickly, and I'm going to add my Twitter and also my email. Google Classroom is just one of my favorite things to talk about. So if you have a question about it at all, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to help. As my email, and you can follow me on Twitter. And I am Blanky05. So please feel free to ask any questions, and I will address those as quickly as I can. Okay.